All right. Hello, welcome back to Galactic Reviews. This week we watched the movie Nuremberg. It's based on the Nuremberg trials, and focuses on the judge, the psychiatrist for the Nazi head 22 Nazi people that were still alive. Didn't take a cyanide pill because I don't know if we can say that on YouTube.
Probably
Nope.
not. We can swear as much as we want, but we can't say certain other non-words.
Yeah, heaven forbid. So it follows General Zod as he goes after the gladiator, and the accountant is the apparently a psychiatrist now, with Howard Stark as the commandant of the jail.
Why
It's
does
a,
this sound like a movie I would love to watch?
I was shocked at how many actors I actually knew that were in this movie.
The
Um,
casting for this was phenomenal.
when I went in to go watch this film, I wasn't expect I was thinking it was gonna be good, but this is a good mind thinker. Like it really is. Like just seeing how they showed Herman Goering, how they showed the Justice Zod, because I don't remember what the justice name was. I think maybe Ben.
No, Ben was the sergeant.
I'm gonna look it up.
Jackson, Judge Jackson.
With the way that everything went in the courtroom, the way that like you eventually find out like not everything is what it is said. Like some people are getting played by other people and they didn't think that was the case. It is a very interesting dynamic, and you see that not everything is as it seems, especially with Herman Goering. He's essentially playing the psychiatrist for a good bit of the movie.
He's playing everyone.
Yeah, he really, like, you don't think he's that, like he's in a bad situation the whole movie until you hit that spark moment. It's like, oh crap, this is kind of it does later backfire on him with the psychiatrist, but that was really well done. I don't know if I know it said it's based off a book, and I know it's based off the actual Nuremberg trials. I just don't know how much of it is real other than what was in the courtroom. I don't know if that was real footage or not. I don't think so. I think it was just in black and white.
I think that was real footage.
Oh, it was.
I,
I
I
know
will verify, but it looked very real.
some of it felt like it looked like Russell Crowe and not the
Nope, that was
that
the
was real
footage they
footage.
used during the Nuremberg trials.
Okay. Huh. Well, that was really good because some of it looked like the actors didn't look really close to what. Wow, that was actually really good. But yeah, I was very surprised by this movie. It's very well written, very well acted, very good cinematography. The score, not so much. I think it's just there when it needs to be. It's not great, but it's not terrible either. It doesn't take you out of the film. This is a good movie. I don't know if I'd say it's a great movie, but it's a good one. It's a one that's very thought provoking, and I didn't think it was going to be that thought provoking going into it. I'll give this an 8.5 out of 10 for now. Yeah, no, thought it was a really, really good movie.
Oh, I guess we could leave the actual military man last. Um, I was not looking forward to watching this movie. I am not some I just don't enjoy war movies. I never have. There's a lot of war movies that I know people love that I haven't seen because I'm just not interested in war movies. Maybe that's related to me not being a history buff. Um, it's not that I don't care about history, it just doesn't interest me. This movie was incredible. I greatly loved it, greatly enjoyed this movie. The acting was phenomenal from all sides, from actors we've seen before and actors that are kind of up and coming. I know, what was his name? Howie, Sergeant Howie.
I've seen him before. I don't remember where
Yeah,
from,
he's
but
been
I've
in
seen
like
him before.
one or two things. He was in White Lotus, but he hadn't had anything like a big movie before this.
Okay.
But he's been in other recognized things. But he did a great job, especially with his monologue towards the end.
Yeah.
Um, just a great movie. It was very much less war and more psychological courtroom drama. which I enjoyed, and the history I got out of it was really cool. I did know when I was watching it, or I had a very good, I had a lot of confidence that the footage they showed of the Holocaust was real because I recognized several frames that were of like photos that I've seen before in like
Mm,
textbooks. Um, I just didn't know it came from a documentary the military made for the trials.
I
But
didn't know that
apparently,
either.
yeah, but apparently the 190 199 people were tried, but that was just like the first 22 as
Yeah.
their trial run.
From what they said, I think it was just like the heads of what they that were still alive of the Nazi party.
Yeah.
And I would have liked to have seen better um choices other than just like, oh yeah, this is the guy that ran the newspaper, and then this is the guy. Like I would have liked to have seen some like I get I can't choose, but
I
it was
mean,
good to have the third and the second there, but
from what I was able to find, kind of while you were giving your review, this movie is pretty historically accurate. I mean,
yeah,
of course, it was dramatized and fictionalized, but um, the psychiatrist really did go and deliver letters to his family and get close to him and his family. The British representative for the trial really did kind of cut in and save that trial. A lot of like the plot details were spot on historically, um, whereas the filler stuff might have been just assumed.
yeah,
Um, so really cool. It was I greatly enjoyed it, especially the more psychological and kind of battle of wits that we got to see between Herman and I'm forgetting his
Kelly,
name. Kelly, Gehrig and Kelly. I don't know why the scene stuck out to me. I really liked it when he was trying to give him aspirin when he was getting having his heart attack, and he like put the pill in his mouth to be like, "Look, it's not poison, take it." Uh,
yeah,
I don't know why I was like that. I was like that was such good on your feet thinking. Um, the rest of it was just good. I don't think I have any complaints. Solid 8 out of 10. Very solid 8 out of 10. I don't know if fun or cool was the right word for it, but
I mean,
man, did Gehrig really walk all over that judge.
yeah.
it was. I think it's just like just the difference in intelligence, I guess is the best way to say. Like that guy knew what he was doing, but his ego was the thing that tripped him up. That was such
He
a
was
good
prepared.
he I think he knew what he was doing when he got in the limo.
Yeah,
Like this whole thing was planned as soon as he got in that limo. And that's what it made it seem like as soon as you got that revelation that Kelly was being played the whole time.
Yeah.
great. Yeah, no other notes, I don't think, for me.
Yeah. And honestly, I don't have all that much to input on it. I am a big history buff, and I really enjoy the like World War One, World War Two history, and this was phenomenal for a film, in my opinion, to represent that because we don't really get to hear much or like as children going through like high school and even in college, unless you're a history major, get to know like what happens after World War II for like the
Yeah.
Nazis and everything else.
Like with World War One, we just hear about the Treaty of Versailles. We really don't know.
Exactly.
And then for this one, we just know about the Nuremberg trials and that's it. We don't really get to know
You don't
what
get
exactly
into the
happens.
nitty-gritty unless
Yeah.
you look for it yourself. So it's really nice to
Yeah.
see a movie about kind of more in depth the nitty-gritty of what happened to these people, these individuals, um, what consequences they had to pay for, and everything like that. Um, so that's really fun to be able to see, especially in a movie, instead of just reading it. Because nowadays, a lot of people aren't going to sit down and read history like that. So being able to see it in a film gets people more educated on it, which is what I enjoy. And they did a very good job showing that. Um, and as Andrew said, a lot of historically accurate things were put into this film. Uh, they did a phenomenal job with that. it's just a really good uh, historical, psychological movie. And I think because of the subject they chose, it gets people more engrossed into it because it's not just like a historical documentary or just another like World War II movie from a perspective. It's a psychological kind of puzzle.
I also think
So,
it kind of works because I think it also kind of works, at least from an audience perspective, because we know
yes,
about them, but we don't know that much about them,
correct.
to where like we're also along for the ride as
Exactly.
well. Even though we
Exactly.
know all the travesties of the Holocaust, we know all the travesties that the Germans executed.
Hmm.
We are taken along for the ride. It's like, oh, maybe there is some stuff that he didn't know about. It's like, no, when you think about it, the whole time you're just along for the ride, and
Yep.
you,
It's fun. They I can't even say they wrote it well because technically they didn't write it. It's history.
yeah.
But they um
Well, at least the stuff that's like on the record in the
oh
courtroom
yes,
and
that is true. They did a very good adaptation to it.
I think
And
they did a good job of making it as accurate as possible while still making a good movie out of it.
yes,
So
that's a better way to put it. Um I don't know, in the way they had the characters, um they just did a very good job on getting their personalities, or at least I can't say personalities because you can't really find that in detail in history books unless you just know people who know the person or similarities like family members that would talk about them.
yeah, well, I
Um,
mean, the doctor did write a book and they did have his notes. So maybe they
yeah,
went
well,
in
that
and
is
they
true.
just
That is
so
true. They just did a very, very good job
yeah.
with all of it. I don't really have any complaints with this.
I think this one will get better with time, but that's just my personal opinion.
It it could be.
It was a better movie than I was anticipating.
Yes, I was a little skeptical on it because it is a historical point that can be a bit difficult.
Yeah.
But they did a good, accurate job in portraying it and making it entertaining enough for people to engage into it instead of just like a normal war movie where they kind of can disengage a little bit. I would have to give this probably a 9 out of 10. I really enjoyed it. One because of the I'm a history buff and I enjoy that this type of stuff, but also just how engaging it is with the audience um, for people who, as Andrew said earlier, is aren't all that interested in this type of film. They did a very good job in making it not just another history um, segment.
Man, I mean, these trials are cool. Like I've just been kind of looking up little things, and it's neat. It's a massive part of history.
It is, and it doesn't get publicly covered all that much. So it's nice to see it kind of shown more because it is a very interesting part of history that just kind of gets forgotten about. We won the war, and that's all we really need to know.
Yeah.
But it is important to know what happened afterwards.
Yeah. And I did like how at least Justice I think you said Justice Jackson was his name.
Hmm.
Yes.
How he was like, we screwed up how he kind of said it not exactly this way, but but he did say like we screwed up how we handled the end of World War One, so much so that they came back for World War Two even stronger and more hateful. While it's not completely accurate, I get that sentiment he was going for. It's like we treated these people so badly after World War One that they had a revenge grief with us going into World War Two.
Yeah, but it's yeah, but it's also like the viewpoint of that era for some people,
Yeah,
um, as well, since they happened
yeah.
not that far in between each other.
Oh
There
yeah,
wasn't that
yeah.
much of a gap.
Only like 2 decades, if that.
Exactly.
Yeah,
So, yeah, it was just kind of the mentality of what could have been done differently in between those years to possibly prevent something like this from happening and everything. So,
I think it was. I think it was in the. I think it was Woodrow Wilson that was the president at the end of World War I, and I think he was the only one of the allies at that time that was like, "Hey, we don't need to go that hard on these people," and then everybody else was just like, "No, go hard on them." At least that's what I remember hearing in the history books. That could all just be skewed, just
I
because
don't think,
America.
yeah, I
But
mean, yeah, I don't think he was the only one, but he
I
was
think he
one
was one of the few. If not, I don't think
he
he
was
might
one
not
of
have
the
been the only one,
few,
but he was
not
one
the
of the
only
few.
one. I think one of the only ones from like the larger supporters.
Yeah. Well, this was also like the monarchs were still in power all over Europe.
That is
And this
true.
was like a giant feud of monarchs, was essentially all it was.
Yeah,
That's
since
why
they
America
killed
didn't
off
get in until
Ferdinand.
late. And even then, that was only because, hey, yeah, we got a letter from another country to Mexico saying, like, hey, if you join us, we'll fight. You can keep America. Just that was the
Yep,
only reason why we got in World War I to begin with.
yep.
It was a remarkably good movie.
Hmm. Agree.
And phenomenal actors. The
Oh,
the
yeah.
casting was impeccable for this as well. They did a fantastic job.
Yeah. There was not a bad choice among the actors.
Nope. All right. Well, thank you everybody for listening along to this week's episode of Galactic Reviews. I hope that this at the very least motivated you to watch this movie because we highly recommend it. It's a great movie.
Yeah.
Um, Regardless of whether or not the subject matter is to your liking. Um, Join us next time as we will discuss Running Man, the new adaptation with Glenn Powell based on, is it a Stephen King book?
I think
I'm not
so, yeah.
100% sure. I think so.
Is it a Stephen King book? It is a Stephen King book. We'll be
Yes, it
watching Running
is.
Man, an adaptation of a Stephen King book. Cool, cool, cool. It
So
looks
many.
cool. It kind of looks like a variation of the Hunger Games, where Hunger Games is more, I guess, dystopian. This one looks a little bit more utopian.
I'm excited though.